Hey, friends. What are other brands doing in the storytelling world? To inspire ideas in your own storytelling work, today we're taking a behind the scenes look at how two companies are connecting with their audiences in different ways. Harry's is known for its men's razors and line of grooming and body care products, but they're going more than skin deep to kickstart a big men's mental health initiative. And Lume is an all over body deodorant company with a doctor founder that shares funny, selfie style iPhone videos that are taking off like hotcakes. Both companies are staying true to who they are, and their customers are loving them for it. Telling us more about what these brands are doing is Harry's Chief Retail Officer, Michael Moore. Michael's an experienced C suite exec with deep leadership experience within the consumer products, retail, and marketing services verticals. Within Harry's, he owns the majority of the company's P&L and leads retail business development for marketing, brick and mortar and digital, and commercial strategy, where he's led a 30% increase in compound annual growth rate. This is Marketing with Empathy, the podcast that helps content marketers more confidently navigate the world of brand storytelling. I'm your host, Sarah Panus. I've spent the last 20 years leading and growing successful editorial brand storytelling strategies, teams, and functions. My mission is simple: to help brands speak a kindred language with the audiences they serve. Think of it like a creative content marketing jam session mixed with chicken soup for the soul. So let's hear from today's sponsors and then jump right into hearing more about what Harry's and Lume are doing in the storytelling space from Harry's CRO himself, Michael Moore.
Raise the rudders! Raise the sails! Raise the sails!
Captain, an unidentified ship is approaching. Over.
Roger. Wait, is that an enterprise sales solution?
Reach sales professionals, not professional sailors. With LinkedIn ads, you can target the right people by industry, job title, and more to reach the professionals who are more likely to find your ad relevant. Plus, with 1 billion members on LinkedIn, that means you'll have access to 130 million decision makers and 10 million C-level executives. That's a lot of millions of the right people. Get started today and see how you can reach the right buyers with LinkedIn's enhanced targeting tools. We'll even give you a $100 credit on your next campaign. Go to linkedin.com/MPN to claim your credit. That's linkedin.com/MPN. linkedin.com/MPN. Terms and conditions apply.
Hilton brings you new ways to stay, with experiences that let you capture the glory days. Introducing the Graduate Hotels. Each inspired by local college towns, these stays are always original and never boring. Get in touch with traditions all across the country and enjoy a stay that's a class above the rest. Book at Graduate Hotels with Hilton Honors Points at Hilton.com. It's a win-win. Hilton, for the stay.
Michael, what is it about Harry's that creates such a loyal and raving customer base?
We created Harry's to be just a little bit different. And it's really sort of driven around three things. Number one, we want to be a company that's honestly priced and have brands that are honestly priced. We want our customers to know that everything is made with integrity, and that as part of that, we're big believers in always giving back. So always giving back to our community and our customers in a way that's very meaningful. The way that translates is we think of honesty as trust and being straightforward and real and authentic in who we are. We think there's a touch of charisma in who Harry's is and what we stand for amongst our brands. And that shows up in confidence and warmth and wit and humility. And also this notion of independence, being who you are, is really important to us. So quality, having a sensorial experience, really thoughtful, purposeful design, and being a disruptor. In the end, we felt that was a key important ingredient for the company moving forward. And it's actually how the company got started. If you look at our co-founders, Andy and Jeff, it really came about because they were just fundamentally tired of having to go to a store and shop for a brand that felt like you had to get a loan to be able to buy it. So I think what they really identified was this opportunity to make this connection in a very meaningful way, give back, through the process and then offer a value proposition to customers that wasn't in the market at the time.
At one point, you were like kind of this small underdog challenging the Razor system and providing something that didn't exist with your subscription service model. And now I would say you're right up there with the big guys in the razor space. And you've also expanded beyond razors. You have, other face and body and hair care products and the ability to buy products outside of the subscription model. I know I see you on the Target shelves every time I'm in Target. Has it been hard maintaining the company's original vision and essence while you've been growing so quickly? Or has it just been so core to like who you guys are that now it's just about scaling that message?
That's a really important question that you're asking. I think what I've found since I've been at Harry's is the answer is we've been very focused on remaining who we are. And the idea starts from the fact that our vision is we just want to make things people like more. And that comes directly from customer insights, being very, very in tune with who our customer is, what they care about, what's meaningful. And then this idea and this notion that we've been driving over the last few years, which is to be wherever they choose to shop. And so that's been the move that we've made over time as we've moved from DTC into retail. And what that does is it gives us a bigger, broader environment to be disruptive and to have our customer discover us in a way that is exciting and different, including, from the time we launched originally at Target back in 2016 and created displays and messaging and storytelling that really had never been seen in store before, to levering off of that into where we are today more broadly in almost every retail environment you can think of.
Can you give me an example, like what was so different about on the shelves in a way that people hadn't seen before?
It was recognized pretty broadly that, including I think the Path to Purchase Institute and others really recognized that the way in which we told the story introducing Harry's at Target was really unique. It was very, very design led. We have an incredible design team inside Harry's who some of the most creative, thoughtful people I've ever met. And they came up with an end cap design that really was about telling the story of a guy standing in front of the mirror with the dog standing there next to him and sort of connoting this idea of approachability and value and quality through the storytelling that they did on the end cap. And it was so extreme as a starting point that Target even gave us feedback that said you might want to make sure there's enough product on that end cap to support it because it was so differential and disruptive. And it was a massive success. It created stopping power in the store where people literally could not walk by the end cap without stopping and taking a look because nothing like that had been in the store before.
Yeah. So then from a storytelling marketing perspective, which is what we talk a heck of a lot about on this show, how do you recommend then staying rooted in your focus areas when a lot is changing around you? And then also what advice you have for content marketers that are navigating through kind of their own company growing pains right now?
I think the first is always to speak truthfully. Honesty and transparency are really important in brand storytelling. If you're crafting a story, it needs to be rooted in the reality of your brand, whether it's the products or the industry that you're in. And so I think your creativity can't stray too far away from what that brand promise is because confusion in the end is a big killer of brands. I think the second thing is, find ways of infusing personality or personalities into the stories that you're telling. Think about what you're doing, not necessarily through the notion of it's just an ad, but really being focused on telling a story in a way that's going to retain people and sort of bring them into the personality that you're creating.
Mm-hmm.
The third area is make sure that you're creating characters that your audience is going to root for. If you're doing it correctly in the first suggestion that I said around being truthful and honest, as you think about character creation and the way in which you want to bring that to life, it should be pretty easy.
Mm-hmm.
So make sure that that's clear. Obviously, with any storytelling advice, make sure there's a beginning, middle, and end.
Uh-huh.
I know that sounds really basic and almost cliche, but gosh, I've seen so many different executions that don't have that it's a little bit startling and it definitely falls flat.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think as any good story does, don't give it all away up front. You want to create a hook. You want to get people in the story with you and you want to make sure that they're making that connection so there's a payoff there for them. even within the growth marketing space and how you think about the use of long form in YouTube and so many other different platforms that exist today where you have a chance to actually do that more effectively than you ever did through just basic broadcast media.
Yeah. It's good to restate the obvious because sometimes we forget or we know it, but then we're not doing it or we're moving so fast that we forget just to like ground ourselves. We overcomplicate our lives when we could just make them a little bit simpler. So it's good to ground on that. So then I really want to talk and dig in a lot with you around some of the storytelling initiatives then that you're doing at Harry's and another company that you acquired called Lume.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Harry's first. In addition to selling Harry's products, you're a company that's very focused on doing good in the world. I mean, that's your very clear message to me as I'm looking at you. And you've selected men's mental health wellness as your focus area. So tell me first, why mental health?
We felt that there was a calling and an opportunity for us to respond to. I think it was really interesting that as the company got started, as we got really fully functional and connected through a CX capability, and as guys were calling in, asking questions, trying to learn more about the product, even in the early days, maybe even sharing a idea, suggestion, or complaint, oftentimes what would end up happening is they would start opening up. And our CX team is incredible at Harry's, and they do such a good job of just being great listeners. And so what we started to notice was there's this opportunity around men's mental health and how is it being served in the world today. And as I think we all know, mental health in general has had a stigma attached to it. And in particular, for men's mental health, it's been highly concerning. We started to see things like younger men in particular tend to be the least likely group to ask for help. And men in general tend to be 3 times more likely to die from suicide than the general pop. It's troubling and scary. And also, when you take a look and take a step back on corporations in the world today that use this as an opportunity to really make a difference in the world, it's a very small number of corporations that are connected in. Now it's starting to grow, which is great. And that's part of our goal, is to continue to build awareness and to continue to make options and promote better mental health care for men. And our goal inside Harry's is to help over 1.5 million men by the end of 2024. And that's not so simple, but we think it's definitely doable. Today, we set aside about 1% of our sales to support nonprofits, nonprofit partners who are providing mental health care and the services that are connected to men in need. It's nothing short, really, of an epidemic worldwide. And obviously, with the pandemic and what we're learning as the outcome of the pandemic, it's become even more acute as an opportunity. We also know that I think the number is 22 veterans, servicemen and women, will take their life by suicide on a daily basis across the country. That's startling and obviously an opportunity for us to take a hard look and make a difference.
Yeah, talk about marketing with empathy right there, right? It's a great example of you have a tangible product, but you are really using your platform to help do good on an even broader perspective for your audience. So you're focused on mental health and you have something called then the Open Minds Initiative. Tell us more about that.
We've been committed to mental health for years, and we saw this need and this increase in the crisis coming out of the pandemic. And that made it even clearer for us. And so we know there's nonprofits around the country that have great ideas about how to positively impact the state of mental health. And they might not know how to have access to the necessary funding to get that going. So we launched a search for the next big idea for mental health. And the carrot was we wanted to make $5 million available to the nonprofit working to make that idea happen. And so what we were looking for was a big idea. We wanted to hear what the big ideas were. We had a long vetting process. And back in April, we announced and shared our congratulations to 3 nonprofits that came together and joined forces and created what they called Team Changing Minds. And the nonprofits are Futures Without Violence, Big Brothers, Big Sisters of America, and the National Council for Mental Wellbeing. And the idea here is to really make an impact with younger people in the world, especially younger boys, younger men, catch them earlier in the game, earlier in the process, and make access to mental health and the considerations and the problems clear and make sure that they don't feel like they're alone.
How long will they work together to do this? Is there like a timestamp on it, or is it really just until the initiative is accomplished, or how does that work?
We're committed to being a part of that solution as long as need be. We're not really sure how long that will take. I think the problem is so deep and so big that
Sure.
we know the $5 million that we're starting with here is obviously a big kickstart to get things moving. And
Hmm.
we're excited about where that's going to lead.
Awesome. To build on that, then, from a storytelling angle, what role then will storytelling kind of play in helping that message connect with your audience? How are you, from a Harry's perspective, getting that out?
We really work hard with our partners to ensure, number one, that we're sort of the voice behind the scenes a little bit and making sure that we're supporting the narrative that they want to drive. We've got a lot of partners. For those who are interested, we highlight those on our website, making sure that the general population is aware. We also make thoughtful considerations in terms of how we think about partnerships, even in retail, like, the opportunity that we have in terms of telling that story at very important, meaningful times, like back to college is a really important time of year to be able to lean in and talk about the cause of men's mental health, tell that story, create unique partnerships with our retail partners who are interested in doing that, and provide forums for folks to engage and to get more information. And so we're constantly doing that. We have an unbelievable leader who leads our social mission. She does a great job of working PR, working in terms of earned media, and really thinking about how to get that voice out there in a way that doesn't feel self-serving.
Hmm.
It's really meant to deliver on the mission that we have, which is to make a difference here.
Yeah, got it. So, okay, so that was that first part then with Harry's. So then I want to shift gears then and talk about Lume. It's Lume. And so this is a company Harry's recently acquired, like what, in the last year?
Yep.
Okay. Because this is a little different because this isn't just like the male only audience. This kind of bridges you over into the women's world.
Lume was founded by Dr. Shannon Klingman. Dr. Shannon Klingman is from Chaska, Minnesota. She's an OBGYN, and she is probably one of the most inspiring people I've met in my life. She is incredible.
Wow.
She recognized that whole body odor was absolutely something that was driving emotional weight and consideration for women, and often was incorrectly diagnosed.
Mm.
Oftentimes it was tied to diagnosis around vaginosis. And so she did a ton of clinical research on a theory that she had that actually the opportunity was to find a way to safely reduce the pH on the skin via the use of mandelic acid and blocking odor reactions before they actually start, and that you could create a product that was natural that could be safely used anywhere on the body and not relying on fragrances or harmful substances just to mask odors. And through a lot of trial and error and hard work, she created this amazing product. And this product is truly revolutionary. It's something else. It comes in a number of different forms. So kind of the core lineup that typically lives in sort of the deodorant category. It can be purchased as a cream tube, a cream stick, or a solid stick.
Mm-hmm.
There's also a body wash. We have wipes. And then there are other areas that have been recently launched, like pre-treater and laundry for your clothes to just eliminate the odor that might be sort of locked into the fibers of your clothing. And I think one of the things that Shannon has done so incredibly well is she's destigmatized the conversation in a way that is thoughtful, lighthearted humor that makes the conversation very approachable and allows women to have a conversation in a way that is meaningful to them. And as a result, the brand is incredible. It's on fire. We are just blown away by the continued growth and development of this brand. What we're finding is the dialogue that's being created as a result of the work that Shannon's doing in terms of growth marketing and how she's reaching out to audiences and talks that she's giving are making this a comfortable topic to talk about, and
Mm-hmm.
that there's a solution that's out there that's amazing and it's revolutionary and it works. And by the way, Lume works for like 72 hours. I mean, it's incredible. So
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the other thing too, is you can have confidence using this product and feel like it's actually making a significant difference in your life.
Like whole body deodorant, folks. So like think about, I love the packaging. It says like, do your feet sweat too much? You could put it on your feet, you know.
Yep.
You have cleavage sweat in the summer. That's what I bought it for originally. Your private areas, your butt crack. Like, I mean, it's so funny how Dr. Shannon talks about all these things that are otherwise embarrassing topics that you wouldn't really talk about, right? I'm talking to you about butt sweat, I guess, right now on this episode, just as a case in point of how it opens this dialogue about something I never thought we'd talk about on this podcast. So tell me more then. She's like the face of the brand. She's doing all the content.
Yeah.
How is she, like, how is the team making it easier to talk about this embarrassing topic?
Okay. So beyond being a brilliant doctor and a absolute champion for women, which I love, and being an incredibly successful female founder,
Mm-hmm.
she knows how to tell a story in a way that's authentic and real and funny. And she's just naturally gifted as a marketer that way. And she's always thinking about and coming up with ideas that are built off of the insights through the conversations that she has with people. And believe me, we get tons of emails, tons of connections back into CX, and she is engaged with all of it. And so part of that for her is taking those insights and really turning it into relevant stories that she can tell. I mean, all you have to do is check out her videos on YouTube. They're hilarious. Like they're so good. And she's on everything. She's on TikTok. I mean, she's everywhere. First of all, she knows what and how from a media leverage standpoint to lever into at the right time. And I think also she knows how to tell a story that ties back to what I was talking about from the very beginning, which is it starts from a place of truth and authenticity,
Mm-hmm.
sprinkled in with great character development because she's the character,
Yeah.
and done in a way that's super engaging, which is done through lightheartedness and humor that makes everything very approachable and real. It's nothing I love more than just checking out the latest content that she's put up, because she's always putting content up, always.
I know. And I think it's such a benefit, you know, that she's a doctor who has worked with women her whole career. And so what better consumer insights expert to like the voice of the customer and what they're saying and being able to talk about things that are usually behind closed doors in the doctor office. I think that's fantastic. And the production of like how the content is created, it's not like these big old huge shoots and
No.
planned things. Like she's shooting everything on her iPhone. Is that right?
Yeah, the majority of the stuff, she's had a few things that have been sort of professionally filmed, but
Mm-hmm.
the vast majority of the content that she's putting up is just her getting in front of the iPhone and shooting a quick spot and putting it out there, which again, I think builds on the notion of authenticity because she's sharing it real time with folks.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, this is big time stuff though, folks, too. We're not just talking about social only content. Like
No.
you have commercials with her, you know, face to camera, and you can tell she's
Yeah.
shot it that way. Which I mean is amazing how our cell phones have advanced so much and this the quality that we could take a cell phone video, right? And run it on TV.
Yeah.
But I think that's what it's a really interesting example for everyone listening, you know, of how you can connect with your audience on a super one-to-one level. Because there is something very intimate about her just holding the camera, talking into it like she's just talking to you. And she is funny about how she talks about things. It kind of makes you smile and you're like, oh, okay. She is a character that you like. I do. I'm like, oh, I like her. Like she gets it. Like she can talk about these things. There's no stigma or ooh, doesn't make you uncomfortable. It's just like I like her approach. But I do think it's really a good reminder that we don't always have to overthink the production of our content. A lot of times you can just shoot it on an iPhone and, you know, get it out for that connection with your audience.
100%. And I think she also brings, and I know this is part of how we always think about and consider storytelling, but she brings this perfect balance of connecting to the head and the heart in a really authentic way. So, you know, the connection to the head is like the real functional elements of solving this very important problem. And the heart is bringing it to life in a way that's so authentic and funny and real and relatable.
Mm-hmm.
And that's magic. It's hard to do in advertising to do that really well. And she does that just consistently over and over again.
Yeah, yeah. You're kind of the both worlds here of you have Harry's with the male audience, you have Lume with more of the female audience. Are there any noticeable differences from like a marketing perspective of marketing to men versus to women?
There are, in fact, even before Lume, one of the key insights we found when we launched Harry's is that there were a lot of women who were really interested and loved Harry's as a brand. And that led us to launch Flamingo in 2018, 2019. And that was an important moment for our overall company development as well, because we started moving into a space that was really appealing across the full spectrum of men's and women's products.
And Michael, for anyone not familiar with Flamingo, what is Flamingo?
Flamingo started as our women's shave brand, now has sort of a full suite of products for body hair removal more holistically.
So we have Harry's, we have Lume, we have Flamingo. Is there anything else I'm missing?
Yeah, we've also incubated and started a really cool and exciting brand on DTC called Cat Person.
What's that?
Cat Person is a very exciting brand. It's a brand that appeals first and foremost to mad raving fans of cats.
Okay.
What I would consider passionate cat owners who just love everything about being a cat owner. We created very high quality products, both in food and snacks, and then also through some accessories that we're offering today. And so that's a brand that we're incubating and is showing really exciting future promise for us.
Oh, interesting. Ooh, and I bet if that goes well, then maybe there'll be a dog person.
Maybe.
There's so many different pets and passions around pets, isn't there?
Exactly.
Okay, so thank you for that recap then on Harry's and what you're doing around men's mental health. Kudos. Keep up the great work there. And then also on Lume and introducing, kind of this, how you can talk about a sensitive topic in a really humanized, one-on-one type connection driven way. I love that. Michael, how can people connect with you? And then also Harry's and Lume.
Connect with me on LinkedIn. And then very happy to respond to any email inquiries. So it's michael.moore@harrys.com. If you want to find Lume, it's lumedeodorant.com. If you want Flamingo, it's shopflamingo.com. And then if you want to find Harry's, it's harrys.com.
Perfect. And I know you guys are on social on all the places as well, so people can engage with you that way too.
Totally.
I'll make sure, folks, that I put all these links into the show notes, which you can find just clicking on the player that you're listening to right now. Just look for the description and there'll be a link for show notes. And you can find all these places to connect with Michael and also with their amazing brands. All right, let's quickly summarize, shall we? Harry's is on a mission to create great products and do good in the world. Michael talked through their men's mental health initiative and how they're partnering with multiple nonprofits to create solutions and advance awareness and options faster together. It's a good example of how you can collaborate with others outside your organization to drive results faster and collaborate for storytelling creation as well as distribution to each of your audiences. I also appreciated their heart-centered approach of being a supportive brand in the background that's fueling all of this work. Really looking forward to seeing what comes from their Open Minds initiative collaborations and the Teams Changing Minds work that's going on. And then Michael talked about Lume, another company that Harry's recently acquired, and how their storytelling is centered around selfie style videos from the doctor who created the product, connecting one-to-one with consumers through humorous, helpful content around an otherwise embarrassing topic of body odor. Oh, and let's not forget, it's all shot on an iPhone. So great examples there. If you'd like to see my favorite examples of what Harry's is doing to help improve men's mental health, along with a video of Lume founder Dr. Shannon Klingman giving a great example of how a brand can be real and conversational around a sensitive topic, I posted 3 videos in our free Marketing with Empathy podcast Facebook group for you to watch. So join the group if you haven't already, as we'd love you to be there and connect with our growing community of brand storytellers storytelling content marketing professionals that listen to marketing with empathy like you. And before we finish today's episode, I do have a special bonus to help you improve your content strategy this year. This bonus will help you more confidently create brand storytelling plans that connect with your audience, giving you that recognition, growth, and personal happiness that comes from loving what you do. Head over to kinderspeak.com/favorites, and I'll send you 3 short videos unpacking things I've learned over the last 20 years about how to humanize your brand, how to repurpose content, and create a group of allies to help grow and align brand storytelling inside your company. Get these 3 ways to improve your content strategy freebie by heading on over to my site at kinderspeak.com/favorites with an S, kinderspeak.com/favorites. And one last thing, if your company is looking for freelance brand storytelling help, or you are personally looking for coaching to help uplevel your own career, I have multiple ways to help do the work for you or teach you how to do it yourself. Check out my agency services, online brand storytelling courses, masterclasses, and one-on-one 90-minute coaching sessions outlined at kinderspeak.com/courses. That's kinderspeak.com/courses. I'd love to connect and help you more confidently navigate this world of brand storytelling. Until next week. If you're hearing my voice right now, you're likely a brand content marketer and communications professional who wants to connect with their audience through storytelling and is looking for help to do it better, along with the recognition, growth, and personal happiness perks that come from creating great work. What would it feel like to have the skills, confidence, and know-how to advance your brand storytelling results and love the work you're doing? That's why I created the Brand Storytelling Academy, a hands-on 3-month group training program designed to help brand content marketers like you attract top funnel leads that drive bottom funnel results through editorial storytelling. For 1/6 of the cost to hire a person on your team or onboard a high-level brand storytelling strategist, you or up to 5 people on your team can be developing and accelerating your brand storytelling skills this year. Think of it like a college certification program for you and your team, but you get the knowledge a lot quicker, and your professor, me, has 20 years of hands-on experience guiding you along the way. Curious? I'd love to hear from you. Fill out the application at kinderspeak.com/apply to learn more, and I'll be in touch to answer all your questions and discuss if it's a good fit. That's kinderspeak.com/apply.
You may know you're listening to this show along the Marketing Podcast Network, but did you know there are other great shows on MPN to help your business? Hennika Watkins-Porter hosts The Entrepreneurial You, empowering entrepreneurs with insights on leadership, business, and success. Hennika, tell listeners what to expect from your show.
So we provide innovative business strategies and practical solutions to common entrepreneurial challenges.
And where can people subscribe?
Find us at hennikawatkinsporter.com, as well as the Marketing Podcast Network at marketingpodcasts.net, or search for it wherever you get your podcasts.
You heard her. Go subscribe.